Hi, Sue here from Mystic Matters. I hope you're all doing well. This episode of Exploring Popular Opinion, I'm going to devote to climate change. Now, climate change, as everybody must know, is a massive fight between people who are passionate on both sides of the argument. The one side of it is wanting to get rid of fossil fuels and go straight over onto renewable energy or transition into renewable energy in order to save the environment. And then there's the argument for the fossil fuels that keep people in jobs, and renewable energy isn't as good. And there's so many different arguments about it. So, as usual, I'm going to look at the energy behind climate change. This is not my opinion. I'm purely going to be talking about what the cards are saying about it. Said nothing to do with any opinion I might have. And we'll see what the cards come up with. I'm doing a Celtic cross, and this is about past, present, and future, and it comprises 10 cards, for those that don't know about the Celtic cross. And we'll see what we can see. All right. Well, we're starting here. Get the energy about climate change. Where we are at the moment, it's people wanting the best, the very best for themselves and for others. And that goes for both sides of the discussion about climate change, if it's real, if it's not real, what we can do about it, and things like that. So each side wants the best for themselves and the people around them. Now, this can be about wanting a better planet for our children, and the generations to come. And on the other aspect is to have enough money in order to look after your family. And so this is kind of both sides equally are as passionate about it. So we're starting off, as I said, at the moment, people want what's best for themselves and what's best for the people around them. And that doesn't necessarily extend to people they don't know or people in other countries and things like that. It is purely about just not compromising. What's challenging that position, which can be quite a selfish card because the Queen of Swords can be quite aloof. What's challenging it is death. Now, this can be, it's not always physical death, though in this case it could be. It can be death of the planet as well. And it can be about needing to walk away from things that no longer work in order to embrace a new beginning, a new future. And in order to combat climate change, there has to be a death of some sort, and a moving on for better things. So this is really the energy very much at the moment around it, people fighting for their own interests and the things that they truly believe, and the fact that people have to change and see that the way things are going at the moment can't continue, because we can potentially be killing the planet, we can be killing the people on it, the animal species and things like that. So this isn't a light issue, and there's a lot that hangs in the balance on the decisions people that have the power to make these decisions. There's a lot hanging in the balance. It's not something that can be put off, as for an example. It's imminent, because that's in the challenge at the moment. Also, what's going on at the moment is arguments. Nobody wants to listen to the other side. Nobody wants to listen to anything other than their own opinion, because they believe they're right and the other people aren't. And they're people are looking at things through the focus of their own experience, the focus of their own belief systems, what's good for them, the people that are closest to them. I mean, there are people obviously looking at the future of the planet and things like that. I did an episode on pollution a few days ago, and that pollution is all it ties in with this climate change as well, to a lesser or greater extent. I'm not an expert in these matters, but all I can see here is that there's a lot of arguments and people just not wanting to listen to anything else that disagrees with their own opinion on whether climate change is a thing or not. Our motivation here, again, is another major arcana, and with this card here, it's all about the end of an era, and we will get the rewards for the efforts we've made. So if climate change is deemed to be a figment of people's imagination, and we go down that route, we will get and that would potentially mean keeping fossil fuels, keeping coal, all those sorts of things, and just going ahead as we have been, then we will ultimately reap the rewards for that decision, for that choice. However, if it's decided that the planet as a whole, over a period of time, will transition into renewable energy, will look at cleaning the earth and helping it by doing things that will help with the climate crisis, then we will reap the rewards of that as well. So everything is really in the balance. I mean, I watch things about climate change, and I've seen a few things about different arguments, but there seems to be, especially with the people that believe in climate change exists, there's the feeling of the urgency of it, that something has to be done now, and this seems to be bearing that out. This is not the death card, judgment card. You know, this isn't something that can be put off much longer. It is really urgent that something is done, and now. The recent past, basically the world has got to a position of feeling that this hasn't worked out the way we expected it to. We're not happy, but again, it's like not making a decision. It's like saying, do we stay with what we have, or do we kind of change and cut our losses and try something new? But this card is quite a young card in the process. So it's like it wasn't taken seriously enough. It's like, well, we could always leave it, you know, maybe another 10 years, 20 years, you know, and then it won't be our problem. We won't have to make a decision. You can just stay with it and see how it goes. Or, you know, and then there's other people who are saying, oh, I'm not happy. We need to make changes now. So again, this is just nothing's happening because it hasn't been taken seriously enough in the recent past by the people that can make the changes by changing the laws and things like that. It's like, oh, you know, maybe we can just stick with it for a while longer. So let's say there hasn't been much impetus, there hasn't been much urgency, but that attitude has actually got us now to a situation that death has come into it. And I am feeling, I think it's not just death of ideas, but if we continue the way we're going, it will be death of people, it will be death of certain areas of land, certain countries. And we're talking about floods and we're talking about fires and we're talking about natural disasters. You know, you can't mess with nature because nature will beat us every single time. We can't tame nature, we can just work with it. And but death will ensue if something isn't done and quickly. And the judgment card is that the decisions we make today, and we've got about 3 years really in order to make this decision. I don't know what the official time frame is on it, but it's imminent. Things need to be done because we will reap what we sow. And if we continue on the way we're going, then we will reap more of the same that we've been going through, and it's going to be increasing. In the near future, it feels quite hopeful here. I think changes will be made because here we have feeling proud of ourselves, patting ourselves on our back and saying, well done, we've done really well. And this isn't other people seeing our success and congratulating us. This is us being proud of the efforts we've made and the things we've done. And this gives me the definite feeling that climate change is now going to be taken more seriously, is going to be looked at as a fact, something that we have to deal with. And so this gives me great hope for the future, because I do feel that the people in power, the people that are making these decisions, are actually going to be forced to pay attention. And so therefore we're looking at more clean energy and things. It's now, we've got to a place of no return. As I said, it's critical now. It can't be messed with. There's new studies that are going to be done on how best to combat this particular issue. And people will be learning new things. There'll be new businesses starting up, which is to do with helping the planet, whether this is going to be helping to clean up the existing problems, starting new business in the kind of areas of like electric cars and, you know, and solar and wind, and, you know, there's going to be much more going on, new businesses sprouting up everywhere in order to support the planet, help the planet heal itself, give it a break from all the stuff that's going on and has been going on, all the kind of the oil, the gas and all that sort of thing. And new industry will start and new studies will be taking place. This is going to be taken very seriously from now on. What people have noticed is that people, it's like they're leaving, like, yeah, I didn't want to say anything before checking with my pendulum, but it's like people are sneaking away like thieves in the night. The people that maybe have benefited from the industries that have contributed to the problem. It's like they're kind of moving away to reorientate themselves on a different level. But all of us will be needing to leave behind things that that aren't helping, that are causing the pollution, causing the atmospheric problems. But there will be people that are, as they're actively contributing to the problem, probably due to money they're making, or just not caring about the outcome. They will be leaving under the darkness of night, and it looks as though people have seen this happening already. I'm not personally aware of it, but it just seems that, said, oh, as soon as night falls, he's disappeared or she's disappeared, and things like that. But we are moving away from the things that aren't sustainable any longer. After all, the Earth's only got a finite supply of oil and gas and things like that. So it's going to run out eventually anyway. What the hopes and fears around this is that this is to do with patience and everything happening at the right time and not before. And so there is the hope that, if people look, that there's a hope that people will kind of understand and just take time out to listen to what their inner voice is telling them, and take out any thoughts of personal gain in any way, but just say, is what I'm doing is it really of benefit to people or not? Am I contributing to the problem or not? And then people are also fearful that, again, the people that are making these big decisions for the rest of us, fearful that they're going to ignore that and they're not going to have the patience or the wherewithal to really change over, that they aren't going to look into their hearts. They're not going to take some quiet time to actually tap into their conscience. So there's this kind of, I think this is where a lot of the conflict comes from, because there's a feeling that it has to be a fight, that victory won't come unless we go in with kind of swords waving and things like that. So because people aren't listening to each other, it's like negotiation just doesn't seem to be working, because there's too many people who've got too much invested, and they don't want to hear anything that could take away from their personal benefits. And so the hope and the fears are around people being isolated and not listening to anybody else, and fearful that people just won't get past the fighting, but hoping that they will. But at the end of the day, there's money and resources are going to come in. There's new beginnings, and there's a lot of hard work to be done. But we will have everything we need to get the job done and to move forward. So really, where climate change is concerned, we are at crisis point. So this is what my cards are telling me. It is crisis point, and the decisions we make now and over the next 3 years is really going to impact us, because we will reap the rewards of the efforts we make, either in making the changes needed or not. And that is everything is hanging in the balance there. But what the cards are saying is that the changes will be made for the benefit of the planet. We'll be proud of ourselves. New work's going to start up, new studies, new businesses will start up to support it. And the people that are knowingly contributing to the problem and knowing that they're not doing the best for humanity, they will be stealing away in the night. So they will eventually be leaving the arena, leaving it to people with better intentions. And then everybody can really start getting to work and bringing in the money, the resources, in order to get all this renewable energy and the cleanup really, really going. So yes, we've got problems at the moment, but it won't be too long before that starts to change. And climate change will be taken seriously, and the appropriate actions will be taken. So it's good news. So I hope that's been of help, and see you next time. Bye.